sure that they work. So far, I don't hear any feedback coming from me, which that's a good thing. But what I want to talk about real quickly here, we might as well jump right in this, is there's a movie out directed by Mel Gibson. It's called Sound of Freedom. And I don't know if any of you have looked at this or seen what's going on with this, but what I hear is pretty intense. And let's check out this trailer. It's quite a it really is. It looks good, and it's about time that we start getting some mainstream recognition for this cause here.
How'd that make you feel? Giving a child his freedom.
Felt good.
You have been at this for 12 years.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Because God's children are not for sale.
That's a pretty line right there. God's children, not for
It is
sale.
the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
And yet somehow you have failed to bring me one real-world lead. It's over, Tim. Close up and come back home.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
South of that river is all rebel territory. No one goes in.
What if this was your daughter?
Sorry, man. She's gone.
Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.
Sound of Freedom is one of those films that can legitimately change this world. So we want to ignite a fire in audiences and open their eyes to the dark reality of millions of children that need our help. Let's make this film a historic event and the start, the end of child trafficking. Theaters across this country are already selling out. Pre-order your tickets today, and you can send the message that God's children are no longer for sale.
Oh, dang, I could watch that thing over and over again. I'll tell you that. Let me shut it off here because it's playing right there. That's just crazy, and I suggest that anybody that needs to or wants to get that thing and check it out. I've heard that it's amazing. You can get it online now. It's not just in the theaters anymore, but that's the beginning. I mean, it's not talking about what CPS is doing, but it's definitely talking about children being trafficked, and that's a good thing. I got a guest sitting out back here, Vicky Carnes, and we're going to check out what she has to say about all this CPS madness. Vicky, how we doing?
Doing?
Ooh,
I'm hanging in there.
Hold on, hon. You got no volume for some reason here. Let's see
Uh-oh.
here. I don't know if it's you or if it's me or it's one of the both. Let's see.
My mic's on. Can you hear me now?
There. Let's see what's going on. Vicky, you got like a pause or a mute maybe on? Possibly?
No?
No, I can see it. It's working right there. I can see that. Hold on once. I swear these people just watch us do this stuff so that we can't get our messages out. You know, like let me try to close you out and then I'll bring you back in. Let's try that.
All right.
Did that work?
Can you hear me now?
Man, this is ridiculous. I'll wipe you out. Let's try to do this again. Hold on a minute. One more try here. And that works good. That works nice. We're just short something somewhere, somehow. Let me see if we can do this. I don't see nothing. I don't know. Vicky, you want to give me a little noise? Maybe we can see if we get you back.
Are you okay now?
Oh, this is
Fine.
unbelievable. I don't know, Vicky. I don't know. Sorry about that. Maybe try to log back in, figure out what's going on there. I don't know. But back to the Sounds of Freedom, that official trailer was pretty damn amazing. I heard that when they were playing it in the movies, that they were people were going. They were shutting off the air conditioning in places. They were doing all kinds of things to make it so it would be uncomfortable for people to be in the theaters for that. And it is close. It is close. It's getting us closer with something to talk about with child trafficking and everything, but it's not as close as we need it to be for CPS and how these caseworkers lie, how they don't tell the truth, how they manipulate you into signing contracts, there's just 1,000,001 things that they do on a daily that destroys your family and the chances of you getting your child home. Now, fortunately, people are waking up to all this stuff. And while doing that, we are also getting access to more and more resources. And that's what we're trying to do with abolishcps.com, is trying to put a parking spot while we're destroying this entity known as CPS. Like, we got to destroy this thing, tear this thing right down to the nitty gritty, man. We need to make sure that there's nothing left, no funding, no persons. Everything is taken away from this. Everything is taken away from this system because nothing about it works. So how can you keep a system in place that 90% of what they do is wrong? And those are the things. I don't know if anybody heard that earlier, what Gene Laird and I were talking about. But what we were saying was here's the mathematics, here's the breakdown. When CPS takes your child, 100%, right? We got a 100% rate. When they take your child, 66% chance of no reunification, which leaves you with a 33% chance of reunification. Of those odds, the 33% that remain, only 42% of those reach reunification. That's less than half. So I didn't know what numbers were or what they attempted to be. All right, we got Vicky coming back, so hopefully we can get her and we'll be able to hear. I hope that I didn't do that to her. And I'm going to check my things one more time too, Vicky, make sure that I'm not missing something that I should be missing. Let's see what's going on here. I'm going to try this again. Here we come to save the day. I know. I'm trying to switch my stuff here. All right, there we go. All right, Vicky, I think, Vicky, if you're there, I think I might have solved the problem. And unfortunately, I believe it was me, not you. But let's see. Vicky?
Can you hear me?
I got you. Yes, we're here.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest, brutally honest. I'm the idiot. That was my fault.
No biggie.
Yeah, I didn't know what I did, but I did it. And when I was just sitting here looking, I'm like, this setting. And I hit that. And, well, either way, Vicky, here you are. We're here. This time I don't see you, but I can hear you. So that's half the battle.
Good enough.
Yeah, right. We can hear what you got to say. So what says you, Miss Lady? Where do you come from? What do you got to say about CPS?
Well, my name is Vicki Carnes. I'm from Lakeview, Ohio, also known as Indian Lake. About 1 hour north of Logan, or 1 hour north of Dayton, which is Logan County.
Okay.
I'm a grandma who had custody of my grandchildren since 2005 up until 16 months ago when they took one of them on false allegations. And I was totally silenced in court. I wasn't allowed to have witnesses. I wasn't allowed to present evidence, which is the last thing they wanted. I couldn't speak in court. And then when we went to close the case here recently, they actually kept me out of the courtroom. I was there 45 minutes early waiting to get in. And they passed me up, went to the courtroom and closed the case without me and said that I didn't appear. Yeah.
These people never stop. They never cease to amaze me. So, you've had these. How old are your grandchildren?
Well, the one I had the case with, they kept the case open until the day after she turned 18. Go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one is 15, which he's living with my parents now, and then my oldest granddaughter, who's still with me, is almost 19.
Okay. So they took your. I mean, I hate to say adult, but I look at these ages of kids that are taken at this age, and this is just absolutely ridiculous because I don't know your state. They must be able to have a say in what their position is, right? In your state, are they allowed to speak to the judge at this age?
Well, my granddaughter is the one who kind of started it. We live in, it's a resort, and she met a couple that lives. Well, they have a summer house over here. Wealthy couple who kept throwing money at her.
Yeah.
She met them when she was, I want to say, 13, and they kept asking for her to move in with them, and she would get mad at me and tell me I'm moving in with them, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not up to you. It's up to the courts. And when she said at 13, it's not up to you, it's up to the courts, I knew somebody was talking to her.
Of course it is. That's what's going on with all these teenage kids anyway. Someone's feeding them, whether it's a predator, whether it's an abusive parent on the other side, whether it's an angry parent. I mean, it's disgusting. And the thing is a lot of these calls and these allegations, these anonymous calls that go into CPS, they're because my mom took a phone, her cell phone, or my dad took the cell phone, or they grounded them from their cell phones. So these things are so asinine, and CPS is coming and they're like flying in. What was their, if you don't mind me asking, as part of this, but what was the reason for them to come and quote unquote be in imminent danger to get your granddaughter from you?
Well, actually, they didn't have imminent danger, and they didn't have a court order either.
No.
Like I said, my granddaughter wanted to move in with her. They call them kinship, but they're not related.
Right.
And she decided, first she told me that she was going to tell her probation officer that I sell drugs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I said, have at it, dear, have at it. She knew she didn't have a leg to stand on. Her dad does have a past history. And she thought, well, they'll believe this. So she got together with her probation officer and told her that dad was using meth in the house and acting erratic. So they came out and wanted to search, and I said, go for it. And the only thing they found was her THC vape.
That backfires.
Yeah, so I was like, we were arguing because she had ran off and she had been doing this for some years. And I had a hard time finding her, and I got her back home. I had found out she had spent the night with some boy in a town over. And because she was angry, that's what she told her PO. So her PO lied to my mom. I took her to my mom's because we were arguing, and at first I was going to take her with me to my appointment, but she loves to embarrass me in front of people when she's mad at me. So I knew better. Yeah, so I left her at my mom's, and her PO called my mom and said, hey, look, we're silk screening T-shirts in her counseling class, and I'd like to pick her up, and I'll have her home at 5:30. And 5:30 came and went, and that was 17 months ago, and she still isn't home. And the PO called my mom later that night and said she's in foster care. No court order, no exigent circumstances. She took her to the people's house that my granddaughter wanted to live with.
Now, how the hell is that not kidnapping?
It is.
Right. So
exactly. why they don't want me to show my evidence or
So
speak in court or have witnesses.
let's just start from the beginning of this. Kidnapping, straight from the gates. No rhyme, reason, or how. I mean, she had a better chance of being emancipated and doing it the legal way. But now you have an officer of the law participating in the kidnapping of your granddaughter, right? And then you have lack of due process going to the courts because they're not allowing you to cross-examine witnesses. They're not allowing you to call witnesses. They're not even allowing you to be in the courtroom.
Right.
This is 18 months ago. Did you go to the shelter care hearing or the 72-hour hearing?
I did. I didn't have an attorney. I went all by myself. I think there were 6 or 8 people on the other side.
Of course.
And I was basically told, we're taking her, and that's all there is to it.
And oh my God. And all of this because of the allegations made by her about you selling drugs.
Yes, and my son was arrested that night. His PO wanted him arrested and drug tested, and they took him into jail and drug tested him, and he was negative for everything they tested him for. Good. I went and got drug tested. That was negative. I mean, there was zero proof that there was any meth use in this house because there wasn't. But yet, her PO did it the dirty way and lied to my mom to gain access and took her over to these people's house. Who, by the way, I have videos of her out drinking on a boat with them, smoking pot at their house, and even worse.
Oh, even worse.
They did a background check on them, and apparently they didn't, or they didn't care because I had one done, and normally wouldn't stick people with the background that they have.
Same thing happened with me and my daughter. When they took my daughter, she was gone for 32 minutes, and I pulled up these people that were running porn sites. They had voyeur cams. The children that were living at that home had been a witness to their parents murdering each other. These children had burnt a house down. My daughter was 3, and we kept her away from all of that. And in a moment's wisp of no imminent danger, of no bullshit, they take her and put her into a place that we've tried to protect her from. Same thing like you're talking about here. Like, you took an innocent, well, I don't know about how innocent we are at 15, but, as well as you could keep it to that point. But you take a 15-year-old child that's been kept well, shielded somewhat from the realities of the world, and then drop into a party zone.
It's exactly what it is.
And all in the fact because they're going to lie. Because here's the funny thing is, we're seeing a lot of this probation officer, police officer, coordinator, because the way the police are not supposed to be involved with the CPS. Like, that's supposed to be a complete no-no. The only time police are supposed to be involved, or the law enforcement, is if they're coming there as a support mechanism because someone could possibly maybe be violent, which the way I see it is every parent, when you take their kid, has the potential of being violent. But nonetheless, they use it more as an intimidation. That's why they're bringing the police. Because you know what? They're not bringing the detective there with no uniform on and stuff. They're bringing the patrol cop with the, he's got a big rifle right here and SWAT gear, looking all militarized, and because that's great, And in all reality, they should be defending you because these people are kidnapping your child from the house.
Right. And they took an oath to protect the Constitution.
Correct, and which means they protect us, the people. This is getting out of control. And what's happening is we, the people, are allowing all of this to just go on. We've let it go on for so long, and we can't. But I want to get back to this whole thing with the probation officer. So the probation officer now comes, takes your granddaughter, knowingly accepts lies that she told to come into your house, search your house. Now, did you know, in these things, who was on probation in the house?
My granddaughter and her father.
Okay.
But her father didn't live here, and he didn't have custody of her. He was visiting, though.
But that's fine, because in reality, I'm pretty sure, well, I know the laws here in Maine, but that probation officer had no reason to search anything in that house but for where your granddaughter was, right? Like that's all they did, right? It was her.
It was supposed to have been her room only, but then she asked if she could search the rest of the house, and I told her that she could because I knew there was nothing there.
Right. Or you at least were hoping. But in the interim, they end up picking up your son because he's there, I'm assuming, trying to visit or help with the situation, just trying to do something good. And he gets hung up in this because I'm going to guess he probably had involvement with something prior, and it was something stupid. So now he gets harassed. He gets thrown in jail, so it looks bad in front of his probation stuff, all because your granddaughter wants to go and party.
Right. Yes.
But yet, in Maine, 2 weeks ago, there was another child that was called on 4 to 5 times in one day, let alone the prior days, saying that there was nerve-wracking evidence. You need to come take this child away immediately because this child is going to die. You know how many times CPS came and visited that person?
0, I'm sure.
None. They don't want the kids. They don't want the ones that are abused and beaten up and broken. This is easy for them. They've got your granddaughter in there for 3 years, collect a nice little check, off they go. There's going to be no argument. You know, the investigation, the court stuff, pretty easy because they're setting all this stuff up now for, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain cramp here with the name. When you go to a state and they harbor you, I guess, but that's not the word. It's not harbor. I can't believe I'm having that. Where they're going for transgender now. You know, like you can go to.
Oh my gosh.
You can go to. Well, I think Washington is one of those states. Oh my God, I can't think of the name. But you can go there. I think it's children that 13, even at the age of 13, can go there, run away from their families, get TPR'd from their families without their family knowing, get the transgender sex change, and then get put into a foster family with never having to show your family a damn thing. And it's fine at the age of, I think it is 13.
I think you might have spoke with Tracy Patriot, who's going through that with her daughter.
I have spoke with her at another time. I would love to talk to her. I actually, you know, it's funny you say that because I did this morning actually just hit her up on Telegram because her story is just amazing. It's just like not amazing in a good sense either. Like this woman has run the gamut of the world trying to get her kid home and smack her in the face and make her that little girl again that she was once and that she shouldn't be this being that has been created from all of this mess.
Right. They told her that when they put her daughter in school in this LGBTQ plus whatever business class, they sent home a letter and said it was a friendship class. And everything went all to hell when mom went to school and found out it was the LGBTQ thing and let them know that she didn't appreciate it. And then that's when everything went crazy.
Yeah, and wasn't like, I don't want to speak for her story, but wasn't the teacher in that a groomer, or there was a groomer that was following her?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Something,
Children's Services placed her daughter in a homeless shelter. And I guess this weirdo was there, and they ended up kicking them out, and they went to live in the woods somewhere with other kids who are going through this LGBTQ whatever.
Right? What is it? Lesbian, gay, tribe, this, that, the other. It's much easier when it was male or female. That's my honest opinion. You know,
It's getting longer and longer every day. I don't know.
Yeah, add something else and something else and something else and something else. It's ridiculous. You know, there's just this whole thing's getting out of control. But my whole point being bringing this up is that this is why I think they're getting so lax on the things like with your granddaughter. I mean, come on. That's a 15-year-old kid that a probation officer voluntarily took from the custodial grandmother, didn't say a damn word to her about it, put her into a foster situation, and no problems, no penalties, no, not a damn thing.
Nothing right yet.
Right yet. I don't want you to spill a bunch of beans, but if you want to go on that right yet, that would be pretty cool to listen to a little bit.
Well, like you said, I can't spill a bunch of beans, but what comes around goes around, and I'm working on it.
Yes, I love that. I love to know that this story is going to end in such a way that
it was so illegal. I mean, because I couldn't take her with me to my appointment because she was screaming and cussing at me. And so I dropped her off at my mom's, who is, near my appointment. And I told the PO over the phone and I will admit, when my granddaughter first called the PO, I told her I'm dropping her off at CPS. I can't take this no more. But by the end of the conversation, I said, look, I'm going to drop her off at my mom's and I'll call you after my appointment. Well, I dropped her off at my mom's. So when I got home, my yard was full of police and probation wanting to search my house. Yeah. Yeah, that's serious.
How many would you say? How many did they bring for grandma to come and take the child out? How many black and white cars or cop
3
cars?
officers and a probation officer.
3 officers and a probation officer to come.
And they had my son in cuffs in the back seat of the car by the time I got home.
Nice. Did he at least get out of this in a decent way? Like he didn't get any extended trouble, hopefully. I'm praying that he did not.
No, he didn't do anything. They arrested him and took him in because that's what his probation officer ordered, and had him drug tested. But wouldn't you know that negative drug test did not come up anywhere in the court documents or in court. Had he tested positive for something, I guarantee it'd have been everywhere.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. They don't, and you know what? Why aren't they sitting there patting him on the back, commending him for being an upstanding, is he the uncle, the dad, uncle, dad, whatever, like regardless, he's still in your family and it's your son. So I'll say this, no one's sitting there going, wow, good job, man. Way to stay clean. Way to be in the crux of the situation and you come out and you done it. I don't know what his drug situation was, is, can't be. I don't care. None of my business. But I'll tell you this, if that man is truly recovering and he's been fighting this fight, good for him. And screw those people for not saying something to him, because that's huge. That speaks volumes. And you're absolutely right that they should be apologizing right down to the courthouse saying, let's get rid of this probation. Let's get rid of all this, because this guy just proved in a harsh situation that he can remain sober and clean. So good for your son. That's great for that stuff.
They wouldn't even get his drug test. So what I did was, when his PO called, everything from day one was recorded. So when his PO called, he told me twice in the conversation that his drug test was negative the day of the search. But like you said, they're not going to put that in court documents or mention it in court.
No. They're going to talk about 3 years ago when he missed a drug test or he, whatever he did. It's disgusting what they're doing to these patients and these people and anybody that has a substance abuse issue or anything here's my argument. The CPS, anybody that's involved in recovery with substance abuse knows the first thing that you need is a solid group, a solid surrounding. You need your family. You need every person possible to be sure that they're there for a reach out if you need to help or you need to talk or you need to try to talk your way out of a relapse, whatever you got to do. And the first thing CPS does is take that right away from you and they set you up to fail. Relapse.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, relapse is a part of recovery.
Excuse me.
Relapse is a part of recovery, and CPS uses relapse as a tool to say you lose your kid.
Right, and not only did he didn't have custody, but for these people, say they did test positive for whatever, and then they're like, hey, look, I want my kid. I'm not doing this no more, and they get clean. They make them such a nervous wreck that they do end up, and they do it on purpose. I truly believe they put them under so much stress that they can't get clean.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't so in his case, thank God.
No, right. And that's what I'm saying. Kudos to him for being able to stand tall and be able to give them a big this, that's just amazing. I love when those stories come out like that, because there's not a lot that do that, because I don't have the stat on this. And, I don't know if I'm on the Vincent Davis show, The Secret with him, and I'm a big statistician. I don't have the stat for that. And I want to get that stat of how many people that are actually involved with CPS cases actually make it through recovery not even without a blemish, because I know everybody relapse is a part of recovery. You'll relapse 7 or 8 times,
Mm-hmm.
that's what the expectation is, I mean, kudos to people that don't, good for you. But then also we have what they call functioning addicts. And I watched this interesting thing with Samuel Jackson, I believe, narrating. It was the truth about the things you didn't know, or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly the title, but like that. And he was saying that 92% of the people that use drugs are functioning drug addicts. The other 8% are the ones that we attach the stigma to. The other 8% are the ones that we, make the image last for everybody. The guy at the dumpster with the needle hanging out of his arm. Like everybody forgets that the pharmaceutical companies are the ones that push these drugs onto these people so that they can maintain their livelihood and continue with their job and continue with this. And all of a sudden, when they decided that the pills were no longer allowed for everybody around, that we're just going to stop everything after they've destroyed how many Americans' bodies. I mean, every boy, man, daughter, woman, grandma was on an opiate at one point in time when this thing was at its heights. So kudos to your son. Vicky, what are you looking for? What do you need? If you're going to shout out to everybody, my next guest, Dana's on here. So you want to hang out with Dana and shoot the breeze?
Sure.
Do you want to? Sure. I'll just pull him in on this conversation. But my question to you still stands. What is it that you need? What do you need? If you're making a cry out to someone, what is it that you need right now?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm working on cleaning up the mess that CPS has left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully everything will come to light what they've done. The lies, oh my God, the lies that they have told that they can't get out of because I've recorded. I'm just hoping I can bring it all to light in the end.
All right. Well, we'll work that. Make sure you check out my site, abolishcps.com. On there, we're revamping it a little bit. My buddy here, Dana the Angry Citizen. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Vicky, this is my man, Dana. He's another Dana up here with me. I don't know how much of that story you heard, Dana, but this is Vicky. She's a very good-looking woman. I saw her when her voice didn't work, but she's lost her when we got the technical things. But we got that handled. But, she's another victim to this pointless, just the ridiculousness of stealing children in the United States.
Flat out.
Go ahead, Vicky.
The flat out corruption.
Yeah, all of this just for the money.
Yep.
Oh, Lord, we got a Dana. Hold on, Dana. We got a you issue with me? Or no, is this you now? Hold on, I'm going to click you on and back in and see what we can do here. You should be here. Are you here?
Dana?
Dana, come to me. Your lips are moving. Do you hear us, right, Dana? You can hear us. Let me look at your volume levels. Yeah, but you've got no volume coming in. I got 0 for you here. Let me look here. Why do you have, even when you talk, Bubba, it's not, let me mute you. You're muted. Now you're unmuted. Let me check this. You know what? While we're messing with Dana's audio here, I'm going to put this video on for everybody real quick. We'll just take a quick 3-minute break while we adjust with Dana's audio. I'm going to throw this video here. This video here. While this uploads here, we're going to take a look and. I intend to embarrass this government entity to the very core. Something needs to be done because it's not right. They can just go remove your kid, and our daughter hasn't even been away from us for more than a day or an hour or two, let alone 2 weeks now, and this just isn't right, and the facts prove it. I will make sure that my daughter has nothing but the best for the remainder of her life. This kid had the world by every aspect that you possibly could. She was given every chance to become whatever she wanted.
We talk daily about her becoming an astronaut or a pilot or, something that was just an amazing feat for her. And she knew the sky wasn't just her limit, man, space was. My word is, the only thing she needs to be the best for the rest of her life is her mother and I. So let's do the right thing. And my word is, the only thing she needs to be the best for the rest of her life is her mother and I. So let's do the right thing.
Gives them the right, some guardian of lion that she's spoken with her maybe once, twice, 3 times that she's
A vendetta, an homage, I don't know what you want to call it, but she's got something under her that's driving her to remove this kid from our lives. She's inexperienced. Inexperienced is what you're going to toss this to. You're going to give an inexperienced person the keys to my world, my heart, our everything. Inexperienced is people that burn a pizza. Inexperience is bumping your car into something else, because you're an inexperienced driver. Introduced as a third wheel into a kinship family, which I'm thankful for, but that's not her own. She's not with her own mom and dad. She's not even allowed to have her own things. Kaylee Leedy doesn't allow her to have gifts from us. Kaylee Leedy doesn't allow her to even take home simple food things from us when she visits us. It is brutal. Absolutely brutal not having Nina here in my life right now. I would rather sit behind the jail cell door and wait until that moment that I can be with my family again, and that would at least be something. But to sit here and know that she's the one that's suffering, this punishment isn't in my behalf, this is on hers. Now, I made a mistake. What CPS has done and are doing to our family is tearing us apart. In the framework of the investigation, it states clearly, do not recommend further investigation of this family. So why was it taken to that level? And why was it that my daughter was in such imminent danger that it took 8 days for the department to come and pick up my child after being ruled imminent danger? Tell me this. If you lie, you cheat, you steal, I don't want you in my life. DHS is full of that. I don't want them in my life. Help me get them out of my life. Because these people are people that I don't want to be around. I don't want them to have my daughter, Nina, out of our home and put her in a place that they screened. Do you know how long they screened? They screened her. They screened the family for no more than 2 hours prior. It took me 32 minutes to pull up the history of this family and find out that they operated under voyeur cameras, had porn websites, had all kinds of things going on there, that their kids that they had living there had witnessed their father get murdered by their mother, their faces stabbed off, burnt the house down that they were living in, and this is where they put my 3-year-old daughter that was in imminent danger. Think about the things that Nina has seen now that we shadowed her from and sheltered her so that she never had to go through these things. Tell me now who needs to get the stanchion. Tell me now who's committing the acts of neglect and abuse. Tell me now, who's going to look at Nina in the face? Tell her that she can trust her dad and her mom, and it was their mistake. Count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. Nina. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nina fell on the floor. Where you fall? Pick this stuff, be alone. What do we got to do to that, buddy? Huh? Beaners. Beaners. Hey, Nina. Hey, look it. What we got to do? What we got to do to you, boo boo? How are we gonna fix it? Gonna put the band-aid on? Okay. What else do we need to have? Some chocolate? Should we call Mommy and get slushy? You don't think that will help? You want me to call Mama? Get slushy? We'll call her.
All right, that was the video I made when my daughter was first taken.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen her. They stopped my visits with her on January 16th of the year before last, so it's been almost 2 years. I'm gonna get her back. She will come home.
Absolutely.
They told me that I could have a 45-minute Zoom phone call to say goodbye to her.
Oh,
And I said, no, we're not. That's not going to happen.
right.
So I either see her in person or I'll see her again. I'm not telling my daughter goodbye over a computer screen. And that's how crass these people are. You know, like, here, you get a 45 minutes, get in there, 45 minutes, while she goes home with her new family. Just downright makes you angry. And, this is the problem, too. How do these parents have to, there's no way that they can possibly go at this and be calm, cool, and collective. Oh, great. They took my kid. Whoa. Oh, good. Yeehaw.
But if you respond, you're crazy,
Yeah.
You get upset. Oh, you got mental health problems, like your doctors.
Right. I don't have an anger problem. I have a CPS took my goddamn kid problem.
Exactly.
Like, that's just the facts. And I just can't believe that they hold so many people accountable for these anger outbursts, saying, oh, it's mental health and you're crazy. Or, this guy had a beer or even used drugs. Like, if you actually think about it, everything that they're saying is bad for you, why they take your kid, are actions that get forced onto you from the reaction of your kid getting taken.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if that doesn't tell you that this system is set up for failure, nothing does. I don't know if you heard those numbers when I was talking to Laird, and thank you for coming on again, Vicky, too, because I lost Dana, we lost Laird, so I got you, and we got 8 minutes left. If you mind hanging with me, shooting the breeze for 8 minutes while we finish this up, that'd be great. But like I was telling Laird earlier, it's 3.2 million. You know what? I'm going to do this math myself. Let's see here. So it's 3.2 million calls last year. Okay. Oh, we'll ask Alexa to do it for us. So we had 3.2 million calls on CPS. Of those, 87% were unfounded. Okay. So of those 87%, that left 23%, right? Yeah, 23% remaining. Okay. Now, of that 23%, 66% of those will not get reunification, which leaves 33% left, which is, so out of 3.2 million, this is the breakdown. Alexa, 3.2 million is 87.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
I know you don't. Hold on. Alexa, 87% of 3.2 million is how much?
87% of 3.2 million is 2.784 million.
784 million. Okay. Alexa, 3.2 million minus 2.784 million is what?
From metanumbers.com. 4,325,000. 4,325,000 is an even 7 digits
No,
composite
Alexa.
number.
She doesn't listen either. Hey, Alexa. Alexa, 3.2 million minus 2.7 million equals
3.2 million minus 2.7 million is 500,000.
So there's 500,000 actual cases that they take out of that 3.2 million. Now, the statistics show that 66% of those that are involved in this 500,000 will not make reunification. So, Alexa, 66% of 500,000 is what?
66% of 500,000 is 330,000.
330,000. Okay? Will not make it. Alexa, 500,000 minus 330,000.
Sorry, I don't know that.
I'll do that math. I think it's 170,000. Okay? Now, 42%. Alexa, 42% of 170,000 is what?
42% of 170,000 is 71,400.
All right. Out of 500,000 kids and families that get disrupted by CPS from actually being substantiated, being removed from there, being put into foster care and adopted. And you know that these numbers aren't even close to what the realistic one is. So out of 500,000, 71,000. 71,000 kids will get to be brought home to their family out of the 500,000 that would take. Pretty crazy, right? Oh shoot, Vicky. Dang it. Here you are, Vicky. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Lost you there. I was like, Vicky? Did you hear the math that I told you?
Some of it.
Okay, so basically break down like this: 3.87% of 3.2 million, okay, was let's see, 1 point. Anyway, the way that it came down to was 71,000 kids out of 500,000 will get reunification. That's the way it break down out of all the math that it went to. 3.2 million minus 2.7 million, which ended up being 500,000. Then we took 66% off of that, which is the DHS actual statistics. So 66% of those, which left us with 170 or 330,000 minus 500,000 gave us 170,000. And then 42% of 70,000 was 71,000. Think about that.
Well, I think they would all be returned if they got paid for reunification, but that's the problem. Nobody, they don't get paid to reunify kids, therefore they don't.
Yeah. So here's the more freaking crazy thing, right? So that's 430,000 kids that don't go home to their families. And that's just in this past year, right? And these are just average numbers. We're not even playing with real ones. But watch this number. Hey, Alexa, how many children have been adopted out of foster care in 2023?
This might answer your question. 54,240.
I like that number.
Yeah.
So here's my question. 430,000 kids remain in custody after those ones get to go home. Only 54,240 of those got adopted out. Where's the rest?
Trafficking.
Yeah. And that's the reality of this situation. That's the way that all this breaks down. I mean, you're lucky because your granddaughter was old enough. This situation sucks, I'm sure, and it hurts, and it's retaliatory. But I think that your daughter, I know that trafficking doesn't see, age or any of that stuff, but it's better than her being 3.
Oh, I've said it a million times. I have said that a million times. My granddaughter was 16 when she was taken. But what about the babies that can't sneak in the bathroom and call home and say, hey, I'm getting beaten, or I'm hungry, or I'm sick?
You can't. Yeah, it's. You know, we got these things right here. This I'm not going to pick it up. I'll break something. But it's called the Facebook portal. Okay, it's this little square frame. It runs solely on Messenger. They were like $400 or $500 a piece. When our daughter went to my cousin for their foster family, when everything was good between us, which got changed out of the blue, she was like, "Oh, this will be great. You can, like, because the camera in the portal moves so that it goes with the child." Because Nina was only 3 at the time, just turned 4. She's 6 now. Oh, it sucks. So we got these things. Well, she had figured out how to call us back, because the only thing that was on that portal was our name, like daddy, mommy, and this. So she knew that she could call us back, and she did. And then it was a couple weeks later, and we got a package in the mail, and it was her Facebook portal. So you want to talk about like a heart wrencher? You're like, oh damn it, because we were TPR'd. We were TPR'd.
Sorry.
I fought against Child Protective Services. I did a podcast. It was all corruption. It was disgusting. They were against me. They were against my wife. There was no reason. Every charge that they based their allegations on, which were nothing of anything to do with a child, I was accused of armed robbery, which was not armed robbery. It was nothing of the sort, so much so that the state says dismiss all charges on this man. But yet, did they give me my kid back?
So taking your daughter.
Yeah. And they waited till after we got TPR'd before they dismissed my charges. So they knew what they were doing. They know what they're doing in every situation. They're in this for the money. I mean, like I said, your granddaughters are easy peasy for them. They got 3 years of, $4,000, $6,000 a month. Caseworkers going to grab. Now, are they trying to adopt or anything like that, or are they just going to ride out this?
No, as a matter of fact, this it's hard to deal with. Don't think I don't love her. I love her with all my heart and soul, but this child is hard to deal with. She doesn't listen. She does what she wants to do. The list goes on and on. Well, there came a time when the so-called kinship, again, aren't related, had to file whatever papers or sign papers to get custody of her again. And they said, we don't want custody of her. However, she can still live with us. And I think that was just so that they don't get in trouble when they take her car keys and she steals their car or whatever the deal may be.
Yeah.
But they, Children's Services allowed that. They also knew that they were allowing her to stay with her boyfriend at 16 years old.
So funny.
Yeah, they told me, I said, and that's all right. And they said, well, as long as her kinship knows. She didn't get that at home. That's why she didn't want to be here. She wasn't allowed to stay with boys. She wasn't allowed to smoke pot. She wasn't allowed to drink. She wasn't allowed to run the streets and be gone for a week and me not know where she was. But over there, she can.
Yeah, I mean, they've dismantled the American family to such a degree that they've removed the father from the house, which I don't know how you were when you were a child, but that was the go-to for our family. Your father's coming home. You were scared to death to have dad come home at the end of the day. You feared your father. You respected your dad. You respected your mom. You did chores. You had things to do. You didn't yell back. You didn't talk back. You had the fear of God, and they took God out and they took the father out, and now in reality that's really what happened in the last 30 years. They've removed God from the schools, they've removed fathers from the household, and look what we have left.
Oh, I know what a mess. Unbelievable. I
mean, there's so many things that we could bring up as topics on this. I'm at my 55-minute mark, but Vicky, I want you to come back and do this some more with me. Are you down with doing that? Can you
love to
Messenger or something, and we can shoot the breeze a little bit more after this, and maybe if we could figure out, because I'm looking for a co-host, and I want to start doing this probably 3 days a week, getting the new news out. I want to get a panel on here to get a discussion going about current events or someone's case or something. I want a little bit more than just the story time. We need to get this message out and help these people.
Well, get a hold of me on Messenger.
All right.
Okay.
I will do that. And, I'll do that right as soon as we hang up this. So,
Okay. I wish you the very best with that baby girl. She's so pretty, such a precious little doll, and I know your heart is crushed.
I am. So
and I am sorry.
It sucks. We have a 24-year-old daughter that never saw CPS, that never nothing. Nina was a gift from God, literally. My wife and I were getting ready to retire, and imagine this: here comes a baby, and then they took her from us. And this whole thing is wrong, and it will be right. And it's not up to me to ask God why or when or how. It's just up to me to have faith in it.
We have a lot of parents committing suicide, especially fathers.
Huge.
And
these are other avenues that we need to talk about, because on this platform and this show, this is what I want to unravel, because there is so much bad that happens from child removal on all aspects of the family that's got to be stopped, period.
It has to.
Child trauma on the adults, trauma of the family. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And listen up, people in America, there are more of us than there are them. We have 20 million children have been taken in the past, 9 million children, 10 million children in the past 20 years. Okay, that's a lot of friends, mother, that's a lot of relatives, friends, family, all that stuff that are affected by CPS. So us together can do something large here. We all just got to get into it, put our heads together. I know we have 1,000,000,001 satellite groups doing everything, but we need to get our focus together as one solid crew and push a message forward and pound these guys. So that's what I'm all about, Vicki. So I hope that you are too.
Boots on the ground.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching this first show. We had a good time tonight. Vicki will be back, I'm sure. And thank you all, and have a good evening. CPS Punisher, going out.
Night. Blessings.